Welcome back, everybody. Let's get into it. All right. What did we... All right, so we left off with hiring a base scientist. Yeah, so... and we could do the base computer archives as well. The same way we hired construction guy, we need to hire a scientist to work at our base. Here's one. All right, so that's done. Now it wants us to go back to our base. So if we go back to the base at this point, we're gonna do the science terminal. He could send us on a mission, and it's gonna keep with the expanding the base. So this might be a good point to maybe try and make some units, get some upgrades, maybe get a new ship, something like that. So here's what we're gonna do. We have nav data. We have 7. So we could trade that nav data to the cartographer here for maps. And I'm going to get some distress maps and see if we can find some crashed ships out here. I'm going to get 4. Now the reason you have to get, when working with these maps, you're always going to want to get more than one because sometimes they don't find anything. So you got to get a few. So I like to just sit in here in the space station and set them off. That one found an abandoned building. And that found a distress signal. So that's where we're going. And here's the distress beacon. So one of 2 things is going to happen when you find these. You're going to find a crashed ship. But sometimes there's a guy out there and he's going to want 40 dihydrogen jelly and you help him out and he gives you a little prize and a bit of faction. The other situation is just the crashed ship that you can take as your own. Now what we want to do is scrap the ships for money and upgrades. Because now you can repair one of these if you really wanted to, but you need a lot of materials to repair one of these type of ships. So I think it's easiest, unless it's like a exotic ship or something like that, scrapping it. Let's loot. Ooh, and we found the hazmat gauntlet. That's actually a good upgrade. It goes in your suit here. Oh, I don't even have that on. I don't have the stuff to put it in yet. Let's see if we could. Do we have the stuff to put the... All right. Now we got the hazmat gauntlet installed. The hazmat gauntlet allows us to harvest certain things from trees, like selenium and that kind of thing. Okay, so we found a crashed ship. Now we want to claim it. This is our ship now. So in order to fix this, we need a hermetic seal and a metal plating. And that's it for this one. It'll be flyable at that point. It's a B-class ship. So let's take this. Oh, we need inventory. Let's see what we could do here. Actually, you could probably move some tech. Like, like that. Okay, so we needed to make a hermetic seal, I think, which is and we don't have any condensed carbon, so we're gonna have to do a little refining. All right, so we're making condensed carbon. And what else do we have here? Okay, we should be all right. See if that's enough. And what do we need? We needed hermetic seal and metal plating. There's our hermetic seal. There's our metal plating. Okay, so with those two things, this ship is now flyable. Let's pick up the refiner and let's get in this ship. Like I said, if you wanted, you could keep one of these ships, but they're really broken and it's probably not worth the time or money to fix it up unless it's a exotic or something like that. And here we are back at the space station where we're going to scrap this ship. All right, before we scrap the ship though, we got a little problem because we don't really have any, we actually have no free inventory. And in order to scrap this ship, we are going to need inventory. All right, this is going to cost us 30,000, but that's all right. All right, so there's one slot, but that's not going to be enough. All right. Now we got some upgrade modules. So what we can do with those upgrade modules is we can put them in the ship we currently have, or we can sell them for nanites. I'm going to sell them for nanites because I want upgrades for my suit. So I'm going to see what this guy sells. These are fine and everything, but they're really expensive. And what we're looking for mostly the movement modules. He's only got the C-class one, so I'm not really interested in that. Let's check the multi-tool here and see what we got. We got an A-class. We don't have enough money for it, but that's that would be a pretty good upgrade. All right, so let's sell the other junk that came, because you're going to get materials back when you scrap a ship, so you can sell those. And those things will be things like handful of cogs, recycled circuitry. See, these are worth quite a bit. 602,000. Once useful springs. Okay, we're approaching 2 million. So now we got 2 more maps. Nothing found and a freighter crash site. We're not really interested in that right now. Okay. Unfortunately, we can't warp to another system right now because we don't have any hyperdrive fuel and we don't have the stuff to make hyperdrive fuel. So our only option at this point is to go back to the base and deal with that. And here we are back at the base, where you can see now we have this guy. He works at the base. Find base, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He's giving me the blueprint to acid and lubricant. Now those are things that are used for high-end craftables, not something you need to do right away. Okay, and now he is teaching us how to make microprocessors and advanced refiners, but he wants us to bring him a marrow bulb. So, another mission. And what's going on with this guy? Let's talk to him. He wants microprocessors. for the weapons terminal. So this is all still the expanding the base tutorial. So what do we got? Let's look at the log. If we want we need to construct a microprocessor. So we need chromatic metal, carbon nanotubes. We could do the base computer archives now, I think. All right, so I selected base computer archives. There we go. New archives available. Let's go check the base computer. All right, I'm just going to skip through this. No spoilers. Let's search the construction database. And we got a new building part. We got save point. Okay, so if we want, we could build the save point if we had the stuff, but we don't. Okay, so at this point, we're kind of stuck because we need chromatic metal. So that's what we're going to do, is make chromatic metal. Okay, so we flew a little bit away to a different part of the planet. Let's see what we got out here. Paraffinium. Copper right there. All right, let's head out there. Okay, and here we are. Now we can make some chromatic metal. Carbon nanotubes we're gonna need. Can we make those yet? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, it wants me to go to the scientist. Okay. Why does it want me to go to the scientist? Okay, he wants me to get marrow bulb and cobalt, which are good things to get. I mean, cobalt could help us. Cobalt sells for a lot, but we got to find ourselves a cave to get these things. See if there's a cave anywhere near here. And here we go. Here is a cave. So these marrow bulbs, that's what he wants, as well as cobalt, which is usually in these caves. Cobalt's good in the early game because cobalt sells for a pretty good amount. Okay, so good. So we got some geodes. These are always good. You pop these, you get a little bit more cobalt. That was cobalt for that one. So it's telling us now to go back to the scientist. So what we could do is call our ship in. You can call your ship in as long as you got fuel in the launch thruster. Use the quick menu and the little garbage can icon, and it'll warp your ship to you. Comes in very handy. Okay, and here we are back at the base. Before I go talk to Mr. Science Terminal, I'm going to throw some stuff in the portable refiner here, like the rusted metal. Get some ferrite dust going that we'll need. And let's talk to him. Give him the marrow bulb. Give the cobalt. And he gives me the blueprint to the large refiner, which is something you're going to be using in the game quite a bit. Okay. Now what? He wants me to go to a transmission tower. All right, so we got another mission. Let's visit the transmission tower. And here we are at the transmission tower, so let's go in here and see what's up. All right, we got a terminal. We also got some nanites right here. Let's get those. All right, now with these terminals, sometimes you'll need to make a choice and you can make the wrong choice. But remember, every time you get out of your ship, it creates a save. So if you mess this up, you can just reload your last autosave. Again, I'm just going to skip through this stuff. No spoilers. You guys can read this yourself. And now it wants us to go back to the scientist. We could also talk to this guy and see what's up with him. He wants me to give him my multi-tool. Okay. Now, he's offering me his broken multi-tool, which is a B class, which we could take for free. However, it's got all this broken stuff in it, but it doesn't have the advanced mining laser, but that's okay. We could put that back in. So let's take it, because this is a good bit better than what we have. See, now we just got a free multi-tool, but we still have our original one. So what you do is you go to the quick menu here, and we can switch from the default one to the new one we just got. Let's take a look at this. This is the new one. All this stuff's damaged. Now, it'll take a while to fix all this. See, it needs a lot of materials that we don't have. And some of these we won't be coming across for kind of a little while. But it's good to have. Alright, so I'm not going to bother installing this stuff. I guess we'll just stick with what we have for now, because it's got the advanced mining laser on it, until we have the stuff to maybe upgrade the new one. So we're going to use that one. All right, anything else in here of interest? No. So back to the scientists we go. Probably worth your time to check out what's in these buildings. Maybe able to get some nanites. Yes. And guys, at this point in the game, nanites are very, very important, because we need upgrades. So we're going to need nanites. Okay, so the scientist is rebooting for an hour and a half. So that means we can't do anything else with this guy for an hour and a half, real time. So it's saying, okay, go back to this. Let's see if we can construct microprocessors for the overseer. And we now have the blueprint to microprocessors. And we need to make 2 of them, which we could do. So now we go see this guy. All right, and he gave us the weapons terminal. All right, he wants to talk more. Go ahead. Okay, now he's given us a mission to kill sentinels, because that's where you get pugnium or puginim or however it's pronounced. And that's what we need to build the next terminal, which is going to be the multi-tool terminal. So basically, you get a terminal of a guy who makes multi-tools. So you can have a guy who makes you a multi-tool and that sort of thing. Okay, now we can keep going with this, with the expanding the base, or we can try and do something else. Now, at this point, we could keep going with trying to scrap ships, but in order to do that, we're going to need to be able to warp around. So we need this and this. Okay. We're out of launch fuel already, so we need to make more launch fuel. So a metal plating. Okay, so with what we have, we can warp to another system, buy some maps, and see if we could scrap another ship. We're going to take a break from the expanding the base mission. And we're going to go jump to another system. Oh, but we're getting an incoming message. All right, again, I'm going to skip over this. I don't want to, no spoilers, but you're going to want to read these things. And we just got personal force field. Awesome. So that's a upgrade we could put on our suit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. So the personal force field is upgrade for the multi-tool we could use. Okay. So that's fine. We're just going to jump. And see where we can get to. This is kind of tough because we don't have very good hyperdrive range. Actually, we don't even have a scanner to let us know what kind of system we're getting into or not. So we're just going to jump to this one. And hopefully we'll get lucky. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Got anything we could sell that we don't really need right now? We don't need this right now. It's not really worth anything, but whatever. We don't need this. See, Cobalt actually sells here at a plus 1.3, so, you know, that's pretty good. Okay. So here, we need 2 ion batteries and a wiring loom. So let's see if we can just buy those right here. And we could. So now we can install this thing. Okay, so what we want to do now is get some maps, and also pointed us to a nanite-rich location, and we need nanites. So let's get some charts. These ones. But before we even fire those maps off, we have 1,500 nanites. So let's see. Oh, and let's open another slot in our suit too. 40,000 units. Okay, cool. So this guy has a movement module. S-Class. It's also got a life support module. S-Class. Now, these are expensive, but that's what we're going to start with. Because we need some upgrades. Because we're moving way too slow. And I need to jetpack around fast. So, got a couple things. A movement module. So, we want to put that next to those. So, And then we got the life support module. So let's move that over there. And we'll put the life support module over here. All right, so that should help us out with our jet packing around. Now, before we go raid the building for nanites, let's fire off these maps we bought and see if we can find any distress signals. All right, we got a distress call there. So let's head out there. Hopefully we can get a ship to scrap, and then we'll go to where that guy told us to go, which is actually right near the distress signal. All right, what's going to send us to collect nanites first, I guess. Now, there's a cave right there. We could use that cave to spend a little time getting ourselves a bunch of cobalt, which would then allow us to make a little bit more money. All right, so we did that terminal. It gave us 129 nanites, so nothing special there. What else is in here? We got the stock thing over there. Let's touch that. Or no, that's the encyclopedia. Now, we got the distress call over there. But before we do that, I'm going to spend a little time getting cobalt. Okay, so we got ourselves about 1,000 cobalt right there. Now let's head to the distress call. Now we could mess with these whispering eggs and try and get the larval cores, but I don't know. Those do make for a lot of nanites. So, all right, this is a risky move. I wouldn't really suggest doing this unless you're ready. All right, we got one larval core. So what you could do is just get in the ship and fly away. But that larval core, one larval core refines into a good amount of nanites. So you can actually sit over at one of those and mess with those whispering eggs. I mean, you got to avoid the monsters. And right now I don't have a multi-tool that can fight them off, really. You can always do the just open the thing, grab the larval core, and run. It's a quick little bit of nanites. All right, so what do we got here? Crash fighter. Now, this is not a ship we'll be able to take. This guy, we can help him out, and he'll give us a little something if we do. He's gonna want, what, 40 dihydrogen. What do you want? Oh, they want me to look at their ship. Okay, so I have the option to fix this for this guy. And now he just leaves. He gave me 100 nanites. All right. We didn't get the ship, but that's how it goes sometimes. You don't always get the ship. So, it wants us to go to the space station. We also have the scientific research, the weapons terminal, base computers are probably not ready yet. So let me see. We have one nav data. Let's fire off this chart. Maybe it'll find another distress. Did it just detect the one we were just at? No. Did it find a new one? Let's see. No, just pointing me right back to where we were. So, okay. Alright, let's go back to the space station and see if we can upgrade. Alright, we got that cobalt. So spent a little time, got 1,000 cobalt, so we could sell that. We could sell this platinum. Could sell the radon. Could sell the cobalt for 204,000. It's pretty good. The living slime we can refine. It just takes a little while to do. So we could also probably sell the ionized cobalt. And there we go. We broke 2 million. Pretty good. Okay, we got 607 nanites. We've already checked. Yeah, we've already talked to this guy, but let's see what else he had. Did he have any other upgrades that would help us out right now? He's got an S shield, thermal protections, radiation protection. Nah, I think we're just gonna hold off till we can afford all the S-class ones. Whoa, 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 whoa! Look what we got right here, an exotic. Well, we're short by quite a lot. So, unfortunately, we can't buy that. However, we do know now that this ship lands at this station. So, if we want to come back a little later, when we do have more money, it's going to land at this station. So, Now let's, I guess, go back to the base. Unless the other thing we could do is now let's go back to the base for now. Okay. Back at our base. All right, so the scientist, we can't mess with him yet. We can build a weapons terminal, though. But we need Puginim, so Pugnium. We could also go to the space anomaly. This one we could just do to get out of the way if we want. Okay, let's just do that just to get it off the list. And what was it? A hydrogen jelly, I think. Okay, so we did that. Base computers have an hour and a half. So building the weapons terminal would be the next thing we can do. But in order to do that, we need to have that one selected. Harvest Fusionim from Sentinels. So, okay. At this point, you're going to need to kill Sentinels, which is not easy. So you need to have a weapon. Now you can try and use the mining beam, but honestly, it's not going to work very well. We got the bolt caster on this one and the pulse splitter. So, but we don't have any ammo. So, let's go to where it's telling us to go. Okay, so I used my ship to blow this door open because we didn't have any ammo. So, let's go in here. These things usually have ammo in them. All right, and we just got the economy scanner for that. That's awesome. That's something you get, and you have it forever. So you can install, when you get a new ship, I can install it on the ship I have now, and when we get a new ship, we can install it on that. So that's a good one. All right, but we need the Puginim, and we still have no ammo. I don't know if I can kill this guy with a mining beam. I could try. I guess we'll try. This might be tough. These little guys might be easier to kill with the mining beam. But the mining beam is not really a weapon, although you can use it as one. But we don't have ammo right now. So one thing we could try and do, so we don't... Oh. We can fight them in our ship. Like that. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. So if you don't have ammo and you need to kill these sentinels, you can do it in the ship. But where are they now? See, it's not real easy. There we go. Because your ship doesn't really stop and hover. All right, let's see if we could. All right, once you get the armor off, all right, we got problems here. Now, when you do this, you might want to not do what I'm doing. You might want to wait and make sure you have ammo for the bolt caster or any weapon you may have. Because this is difficult. Alright, they're going to send reinforcements. And we got some ammo now, though. We're going to try and fly away. There's a strange landing, but okay. Alright, scientists we can't talk to yet. Expanding the base. We didn't get enough. We need to go fight more sentinels. There's one right there, though. So hold on. Let's see if we have any ammo. We got pulse splitter ammo. So when you kill sentinels, they never stop. So like right now they're on the lookout for me, but you can just hide in your base usually and they can't come in here. All right, so now we can talk to him. We got the stuff. Give it to him. Great. Now he wants me, he gave me a C-class shield module and wants me to build a weapon terminal, and then we're going to need to hire, you know, a weapon terminal guy. Let's put this here. That'll help. That's good. So we'll need to go back to a space station to hire the armorer. And what else do we got going on here? Oh, let's real quick. We'll make some nanites out of this. That's 50 right there. So those are really good. Can also get some more ferrite dust going. Let's do a save real quick. Let's check the log. All right, so it wants us to hire an armor. What does a scanner need to be installed? Let's see. 5 microprocessors and a wiring loom, antimatter and 3 wiring looms. So these 2 things I will install next time we go to the space station, because I'd rather just buy the stuff that we need than craft it. So we'll install those, and also while we're at the space station next time, we will hire the weapons terminal guy. And in order to build this, we need more pugnium. So maybe, all right, is there any sentinels around here? All right, I don't see any right now, so we're not going to worry about that for now. Okay. So at this point in the game, we're still in tutorial. You can still see it's a little difficult. We're about, I think, probably 5 hours into the game at this point. So you're still learning the basics of base building and missions and going on missions and stuff like that. So it's a little hard at this early on in the game to go off and just start exploring and finding crashed ships to make money or something like that, because we need to craft warp cells every time, and the ship, it really isn't that good. So I think we'll probably continue the next episode making more money. So what we're going to be doing is scrapping ships while we do these missions for these guys down here. So yeah, this took me an hour and a half. I don't know when I edit it down how long it'll be, but I hope you guys find it helpful. If there's anything I didn't explain or anything you want to know about, please leave a comment and let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.